stickers. Alright. What up, what up, what up? I can barely see. I got too much going on here. But what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Hood to Hooded podcast with your host, Dr. Chief is Sunflower. Come on in and tap those hearts. We finna have a nice discussion about what the thing going on. We're gonna have that nice little discussion because yeah. So come on in the building, tap those hearts. Y'all already know the government has went totally insane, and I'm here to talk about it. All right. Tap those hearts. Come on now. Dr. Sean is always live. Come hang with the tribe. Good vibes. Yeah, we rise every time. Positive energy. Grow every day. We make a way. Yeah, we make a way. That's right. Say it again. Say it again. From the hood to the hooded, we standing true, telling our story. Yeah, this is proof. History talking, wisdom revived. This ain't just a lie, this is life. Yes, Lord, I feel that. Talk to him. All the way live. All the way live. Hang with the tribe. Hang with the tribe. Hood to hooded. Hood to hooded. We survive. We survive. Yeah. All the way live. Hang with the tribe. Hood to hooded. We survive. Always live. Shine. We rise. Try. Yeah. Keep it going. Don't stop. Hey. Now I had to start off with some positive energy, but you already know what time it is when we get started on the Hood to Hooded podcast. We don't play those type of games over here. Now I've been MIA for a couple of days, but I'm back because I just been in disbelief about everything that has been going on. Like, where do we start, guys? Where do y'all want to start? I did not even make a plan for this live, but first of all, this podcast is about positivity, inspiration, and knowledge to keep us growing, motivated, and also not being green about what the hell really going on in this world. I know y'all been seeing it down your timeline. It's just so many angles, so much going on, from the celebrity drama to the president doing some BS today to the Epstein files, and you know, white supremacy has been on a rampage lately, and it's really, really sad because the thing that now before I get into that, the thing that I don't understand is how can y'all president, what Willie D say, y'all president, he say y'all president, not our president. How can your president make such an uproar about, shutting down TikTok? It's a breach of this, it's a breach of that, it's a da-da-da-da-da. They done spent billions of dollars so that we wouldn't get on here, on these platforms. They spent billions of dollars to use AI to colonize platforms, only for them to go around and gaslight us. Y'all president did something to the Obamas today. I'm sure y'all seen it because it's all over. He put their bodies on animal bodies. Now the thing that I find funny about that is YT people always use that gaslighting method where they try to act like the melanated people actually came from Neanderthals. We don't have Neanderthal DNA in our body. So that's the gag. Trump don't even know his own beginnings. Why? The joke is on you, bro. The joke is on you, bro. It's on you, bro. It's on you. Like, let me see if I can pull this up. Let me see if I can pull this up. Because y'all know I really struggle with pulling shit up. But I gotta just stop playing in our face, bro. Listen. Let me see if I can get this up for y'all on YouTube because hold on. Yeah. I don't want to play that right now, bruh. Yeah, we like, come on, bro. Like, what? Somebody did a good one. Oh, here's a good one. Like, I need y'all to stop playing. I'm gonna need y'all to stop playing in our face, bro. Let me see if I can pull this up. I don't think it's gonna let me pull it up. But anywho, you know. Oh, maybe this is it right here. Trump, bro, bring your ass to the front, bro. Bring your ass to the front, bro. You should have never did that, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all something, bro. Hold on, let me get him right, since he wanna sit here and be an internet troll and be racist as fuck, because basically what he's saying is black people are monkeys. That's what he's saying. Not realizing that you actually came from Neanderthals. Now, see, to my melanated people out there, I don't even want y'all to even, you know, I don't even want y'all to blink, not even just a little bit, because who is you talking about? You should have never. I don't agree with everything Obama did. I don't agree with everything, like, but who is you talking about? Because when you see this guy put up some racist stuff about Barack and Michelle, he talking to all of us. He's talking to all of us, not just them. It's the disrespect for all of us. But see, the disrespect don't hit as bad when you know who you really are. You be like, how you trying to call somebody what you are? See, the issue is YT doesn't want to accept their original beginning, so they try to put it on us. Just like they said, oh, you came from Africa. Now, we would have to be fucking idiots to believe anything that these guys say. What's up, Verna? You got to be idiots to believe anything these guys say. And I would have to remind y'all, if y'all think that the presidents are so prestige, you think they so lit, you think that you're going to vote your way out of the racist BS that they do, you think that voting going to change something? This guy just spit in your face. Meanwhile, they around here spending billions of dollars to shut you up on TikTok. But they not shutting themselves up when they trying to be racist to you. Soon as you say anything, you ban. What's up? What's up, Verna? Tap those hearts, y'all. Soon as you say anything, they blocking your page. Soon as you defend yourself, they banning you. Or if it's a YT, they gonna go tell on you and they gonna ban you for community guidelines. Fuck out of here. You know, I had to really go do some research today on this idiot. Bring your ass to the front, Trumpity bumpity, Trumpy monkey. Since you want to talk crap and gaslight and act like we are you. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it, y'all. I'm so sick of it. It's a slap in the face. It really is a slap in the face. But the thing is, I don't know why y'all surprised. This guy has 34 felonies, but if you get one, you can't even vote. He got 34 felonies. His name was mentioned in those Epstein files over 1,000 times. But they still talking about he's their president. This is who they have to represent them. This type of idiotic behavior. We're not apologizing either. You don't have to apologize. And I seen it go around. People was like, Epstein didn't want any melanated women on his island. And we fucking happy that you didn't. We happy. We happy. What? We happy. We're happy. Don't think that we're sad. We're happy that for once you didn't want to bother us. Even if it was because of racist reasons, my queens got saved from this. They got saved from these people who call themselves leaders. Leaders? This is who the leaders are? America, y'all gotta be fucking kidding me. You call this guy a leader? A leader of what? Leader of what? What you did today? What you did today? It's just a slap in all of our face. He know that the Amerindians are waking up, so you want to act like we came from Neanderthals? I'm confused as hell, because see, this is why history has really messed up the YT man, because they are thinking that they are the beginning and that maybe we came from you. How does that work? Because melanin is dominant. It's dominant. And if you never took genealogy, you know, recessive genes, something like without melanin can't produce melanin. You can't produce something that you don't have, bro. I know that you get jealous of the melanin, so you try to act like it means that we're a monkey. No. Melanin is billions of years old, might I remind you. So when you try to come for one of us, you come for all of us. This is why I need my people to know that we are the true indigenous melanated people of America. Because they want to spit in your face. They want to shut you up, but they ain't going to post stuff like that and be in the app so they could just keep gaslighting and make you feel like, no. We don't fall for the gaslighting no more, guys. You really got to know who you are. You really got to know who you are, because if you expecting anything different from a president, I got to remind you that the first 12 to 13 presidents thought that enslaving people was right. The first 13 of them. So what you expecting different because somebody called themselves a president? These fools thought that it was cool to make people work for free and have enslaved people in plantation. They thought it was cool, the first 12 to 13 of them that held the same title as him. And you think they not racist? He just showed his hand, but he been showing his hand. You know, you been showing your hand. The picture is diabolical. Okay, the racism is diabolical. What up, Mar? I didn't even make this picture, but I thought it was so ironic how the Neanderthal trying to call someone else where he come from. This is how idiotic y'all is. You sit in the White House making laws, acting like you all of that. Acting like we just fought with you like that. And we really don't. Trump, you need to be figuring out how you finna cover up this Epstein case mess, because I don't understand how you even the president. But when I looked up the rules to become a president under their government, it's not our government. So I don't care who your president is. But when you look up the rules that it requires, the requirements to be the president, it doesn't bar out felonies. It doesn't bar out any of that stuff, because why? They started this government committing felonies. They started this government on homicide, genocide, democide. Any kind of side you can name, the government was built on that. That's why you had the Epsteins and you got all these other people, the Trumps, you got all them with their billions and millions, and they can wipe the crime away, because this is what it was built on. How could you guys expect a government that was founded on enslaving people, where the first 13 presidents made laws to say that people who was here before them did not own their own land, and that they could make them work, and that they could torture them and bully them and beat them, eat them, use their body parts in their furniture, you know, wear their body parts, eat them as a deli. I mean, doing all this type of, you think these people got your best interest this many years later? Do you really think? I think the fuck not. Now, I can really appreciate Trump for showing his hand to some people. Didn't even think that, they just thought, oh, that would never happen. They just think that it's a subtle racism. But this is out wide in the open. Now, this guy is the main one who wanted TikTok banned because he said that people was attacking leaders. But as soon as they got the rights to TikTok, he turned around and used his network to attack leaders. It is diabolical to me. It's diabolical. You can't even make this type of shit up. You can't make it up. Can you make it up? You can't make it up. So we don't apologize. We don't apologize because you're not my president, bruh. You're just like the rest of them. Let's find the other picture where they had Epstein next to Andrew Jackson. Now, y'all know I have a deep hate for Andrew Jackson. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a picture right now, but I'm damn sure finna try. They had Epstein and Andrew Jackson. Y'all could probably look it up. They had them together. Let me see if I can pull this up for y'all. Cause I was like, what the fuck? But I'm just so, I'm like so not shocked by this. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. Because Andrew Jackson, he was another one of those people. He was responsible for the Indian Removal Act in the 1830s. He was responsible for trying to get the melanated people off their land. And, you know, having something to do with the $5 Indians taking our land. Let me see if I can find this one with Epstein. I don't know if I got that one, y'all, but I don't think I got that one. Let me see if I can go find it. Because it's very important since y'all want to put up pictures and shit. I ain't know it was doing that, bro. I ain't know y'all was playing that type of hand. Well, Andrew Jackson was the worst, guys. And I would never. Andrew Jackson, Epstein. They like to talk about our culture. But baby, listen. Save image into photos. Boom. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. Did it save? Did it save? Ooh. Dang. Y'all can't really see it over there on TikTok. Dang, Emma, you can't really see it. You just gotta go look it up. Let me see if I can pull it up another way. Let me see. We could pull it up another way, because that way I ain't working. Let's go to green screen. What about this way? Alright, now let's see if this will work. Oh, there we go. I don't know why they got that at the bottom, but you see. You see. You see the resemblance. You see the resemblance. You see the resemblance, guys. This is a Neanderthal. But we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to the back here and talk about Epstein and Trump being named in these files over 1,000 times. Now the reason why I'm talking about this is because it was just diabolical for someone to call themselves the president and make these type of moves. But again, once again, I'm not really surprised. I'm not really surprised. Are you surprised? I'm not really surprised at all. Nope, not surprised. Mad? Not even mad. Because it's expected. It is expected from the presidents to be evil. Trump has 34 felonies. We cannot skip that fact. We can't skip that fact. Trump has 34 freaking felonies. Right? Let me get off of this page. So that's the segue to our topic tonight. Talking about these weak ass presidents who call themselves a president. That word don't even really mean nothing. These are freaking scumbags. Okay. So Trump hid his hand for a very, very, very long time. He really hid his hand for, I mean, I don't really know if he hid his hand, but he really put it all out there. You know, but people would say, oh, I voted for Trump. Oh, I voted for this. Who gives a damn? You know, the whole system is rigged. The whole system is messed up. The fact that someone in Florida will say for marijuana, right? They'll go to jail and get locked up and harassed and felony, all for something that naturally grows on the earth. But Trump can go and get 34 felonies, and them people gonna vote and say, yeah, we want to vote. That's white supremacy at its finest. They didn't say, well, he got 34 felonies, he's unqualified. They say, yes, that's the type of behavior we love. Andrew Jackson went to church. He was an unaliver. And guess what? They praised him for it. What's going on, Pip Sniper Husker? Hello, Dr. Chief This Sunflower. They praised him for it. What's going on, y'all? They praised him for this ludicrous behavior. You see, they put him on the money because he was enslaving people. They said, oh, you making laws that lock people up? They made slave raiding, slave catching, slave patrol, you know, turned it into the highway patrol and the police. They said, oh, but this is a great idea. We're going to put you on the money. You'll notice that everybody on the money enslaved people. The same money that people say they're going to go turn into the church and be blessed for paying tithes, aka church tax, created by the Vatican, might I add. And people don't like when I talk about this subject, but the truth hurts, and I don't give a fuck if it hurts. At this point, Trump didn't care that he's spit in your face and try to gaslight you to think you're the monkey. When people go around calling you a monkey, the gag is you're not the monkey. Now they want to get all sensitive when we start talking about Neanderthals and shit. But look what Trump just did. You just listen, man. Listen, I need all my Amerindians to stand the hell up. Stand up, guys. They're not doing no laws for us. They're not. ICE, all these different things ain't nothing but new form of slave patrol. Even Jasmine Crockett, I was really proud of her. She said ICE is nothing but the new form of the slave raiders. Now I need y'all to really go catch yourself up on slave raiding and slave patrolling, because before the government was even instituted in the 1789, they had slave raiding and slave patrol way before that. At least 100 years before that. They were kidnapping people, napping people, us, not just people, but us, taking us and moving us interstate, from state to state, trying to confuse you, trick you out your spot. Y'all seen Get Out. I always mention the movie Get Out because I don't know how that movie got out. Because it told the truth. They gonna meet up, have meetings, look at you, see how they can sell you. See, they done kidnap these people, brainwash them from watching the TV. Because you watching TV, you watching the news, you getting brainwashed, thinking that vote ain't gonna make a difference, thinking that white people are here to save you. And my sister Jasmine Crockett, she said it. She said ICE ain't nothing but the new form of slave raiding, slave patrol. I was like, oh, she know that history. Because you only know that if you know history. If you go straight to slave raiding, slave patrolling, you know history. you know what really went on. You know it didn't just begin with the first president, they call him, who was also an enslaver, who also had like 300, did he have 300 people? I'm going to have to look it up, but he had 300 people talking about equality. So when they talking about equality, they're not talking about you. Anything they wrote in the Constitution before they tried to include you because we forced them to include us, it wasn't talking about you. They told you you was nothing. You were nothing. But I'm so happy that my auntie and uncle Tim and Phoebe, they be laying down the law. They say white people came from Europe as peasants. They came over here on the boat. They still got their boats. They can't find no boats for us though. What Chief Sacred Nine said, he said they found the dinosaur bones, but they can't find a boat from where we came from though. What? Bless me, said the truth. I mean, yeah, that turd is wearing our color philosophy. Bless Miss Jasmine Crockett. Somebody's making the right noises. Yes, she be clocking that tea. She do not play. And I'm happy that she in there. Even though I don't know how she survived being around all those freaking hypocrites. But some kind of way she make it work. She know how to, I don't know, ruffle the feathers a little bit. And I can appreciate that. I appreciate the people who out here ruffling feathers because they're going to play in your face. Y'all just tried to take TikTok down. I don't want people telling the truth. But you got this man around here spitting out political lies against a former president at that. That means you see he don't even consider him a president. That was straight disgusting behavior. If I ever end up on the opposite side of the table from Jasmine Crockett, I'm going to quit and ask for a seat on her side. Okay? Let me be on the side of Jay Crockett. That's my girl. That's my girl. She's like, you ain't what? So, y'all, this is the crazy ghetto mess we're in right now. Even YT people are realizing that the government, the rich people like Epstein have nothing. You and Epstein aren't the same. You know, you're not. You know, you're just not. This guy who y'all call the president is the most evil person I ever seen. And he don't care. None of them ever care. Like, we get into the point where, that's not your president. None of them care. Now, let me back up a little bit. Let me back up a little bit. Miss Crockett's a brawler. Please let her serve this Congress for a long, long time. Yeah, we need like 10 more of her in there. And that's what they're afraid of, to be honest. They're afraid of the Jasmine Crockett's. They're afraid of the MLKs. They're afraid of the leaders who stand up. But see, the problem is now it's a lot of us standing up. That's why we need more of us to stand up, because if we don't, you get the chief, their chief doing things like that where they're going to play in your face and try to make people who don't know who they are feel like, oh, he calling us a monkey. No. That's your history, buddy. Don't be trying to give us your Neanderthal history. Just like y'all try to give us a slave boat history, we didn't come off no boat. White people came off a boat. Ellis Island. Not only Ellis Island, there's another port over there in California where all the Asians came through. Call those the Native Americans. Okay? And I'm just so tired of y'all playing in our face. I'm tired of y'all sitting here teaching our kids these freaking lies. I'm just so sick of it. I am really, really sick of it. White supremacy is a system of access, not just racial hatred. It is a system of access. It decides who gets grace, like Trump having 34 felonies. And they said, oh, we don't care about that. I bet you can't get a job even at McDonald's with 34 felonies. But he can lead the people and write laws? What the fuck is going on? You can't even get a job sweeping the side street with 34 felonies. But he gonna go in here and be signing laws, changing the names of waters. This is the Gulf of America now. Oh, this is this now. Oh, we did this now. How? This is white supremacy. They overlook anything that they did. They overlook Andrew Jackson because they agreed with him unaliving people. They agreed with him enslaving people. They agree with all their presidents having people under the church while they praise their Lord. In the name of their Lord, as they always talk. They agreed with it. This is a part of their culture to enslave other people. When you talk about black people don't have culture, no, we have culture. We are the culture. There will be no word culture without us, motherfucker. You let me see. Would there be a culture or even the word culture without us? Because we did the agriculture. What else? We built the White House. What else? We invented everything. What else? It's a lot of things and privileges you wouldn't have if it wasn't for my people. And you got the audacity to call them Neanderthal DNA? Please stop trying to give us your history and take us to the real history. We don't got Neanderthal, we got melanin, and you don't have it and you're mad about it. We know the truth. You can't keep lying to us. Exactly. I couldn't get a security clearance due to excessive traffic violations. I got those clearances later though. Right, you can't even get clearances if you got a little red light warning. But meanwhile, he up here running the presidency like a thug. Talking about posting stuff on social media, but you blocking TikTok. You want to block TikTok so bad, but then you want to go to the other social media and put slander out and say all these crazy things, and white people don't see nothing wrong with it. They quiet. They was quiet until ICE started bothering them. It was quiet, and then they're like, wait a minute, this isn't right. Well, this has been going on since the beginning of time, and you always thought it was right. You always thought it was legal. You thought genocide, paper genocide, physical genocide, mental genocide, every type of genocide was okay as long as it didn't happen to you. You thought it was okay. You thought it was okay. You thought Andrew Jackson was a saint. Y'all thought he was a saint. See, the thing about white supremacy is they highlight criminals. They highlight criminals and act like the criminals is leaders. That's what they did. Highlighting criminals. Because just think about it now. If we got slave raiding, slave patrol, you going out, you colonizing the land, you doing slave raiding. So I keep saying that, but let me take it back for the people who don't know what slave raiding is. Let me just give you a good definition of what it is before we keep talking, because I want y'all to know what I'm talking about. Some people probably never heard of this word before. So slave raiding. This was before the police, before the government even. This was in the 1600s, because I kept trying to figure out what were white people doing in the 1600s if they didn't have a government and they didn't have no land. What were they doing when they first came here? They were settling and stealing stuff. Burning, unaliving, eating, all of that. They got hungry, they would pew eat us, stuff like that. And they called it slave raiding. Now, they got this from Christopher Columbus in the 1500s, right? So after the papal bulls and the Pope said go and seize the land of non-Christian people, and if they didn't want to read the Bible and if they didn't want to become Bible goers, then they had to be unalive. Which is why 90% of the world is colonized and Christians, because this was the world takeover. One world order where we all worship the Bible. Gorilla, they call them super Christians. She called her parents super Christians. That's another side topic. But slave raiding. I said, give me a definition of slave raiding from the inside. Like looking from the inside as if you were in this position and this was happening to you. So this is before the government. This is how they got all their enslaved people. The gag is they didn't get them from a boat. Because if you bought people on a boat in shackles, what would be the need to go in slavery and steal in and destroy their property and, unalive the chief? Where would this come from? If you got people on a chain, when did they ever get loose to get land? It doesn't make any sense. And it damn sure wasn't the Native Americans. It was those southeastern Mississippi mound builders, the Aztecs. All of these different people. Across the planet, not just here in America, across the planet we were. But let's get back to slave raiding. So this is a story We're going to read it. Just take it, just listen. Slave raiding from the inside. I remember that. I remember the first sound. Hold on, let me start over because I'm already fucking up. Hold on. First they came from the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for ... So let's read this about slave raiding, so you can kind of understand a little bit more about it, because this is before the government. This is how they got all those people in. They had all those enslaved people on their plantation, and they was trying to figure out how to make it legal for them to do it. Then they came up with the government, because they had to find a way to make all these people that they took theirs legally. So they said, well, we're going to make ourselves naturalized citizen. That was the Naturalization Act of 1790. Then they said, we're going to form a government. That was in 1789. George Washington, the first president. But again, before this time, they were doing something called slave raiding. And they did slave raiding all the way up until 1705. Now, this is almost 100 years before the government, right? And the Naturalization Act, right? Naturalization Act said white people who are over here now, basically people who done stole land, are now the only citizens of the land. That's some Neanderthal math, when the math don't be mathing. How you the owner of the land and you ain't from the land? That's like ICE. How y'all kicking people off the land and you're not from the land? Donald Trump, your family ain't from here. Your wife is an immigrant. Why you ain't kick her out? Why you didn't kick yourself out? Y'all kicking out everybody knowing that y'all are actually the immigrants who made immigration legal. But now you're like, hey, they're immigrant. No. Everybody in the presidency has been an immigrant. This is what I'm saying. That's YT math. It don't ever add up. YT math. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. That was deep. It's not going to be nobody left to speak out for us but us at the end of the day. So let's go into this about slave raiding. And I'm going to read the passage, and I want y'all to just listen at what this is. Now remember, slave raiding was before slave patrol. Slave raiding was in the 1600s, because someone asked me, what were they doing in the 1600s? Well, this is what they were doing. They were just doing homicide, genocide, democide, any type of evil thing you could think, they were doing it. When they got the books on how to make a Negro a Christian, when they got the books on the delectable Negro, eating us, they had turned this into like a thing, eating us, wearing us, like sleeping on pillows with our hair stuffed in it. It was just evil YT culture. So it's a culture that they are embarrassed about. That's why Donald Trump would go around and say, oh. He'll put Obamas on Neanderthal bodies, knowing that he's the real Neanderthal. That's called gaslighting, guys. Pastor Martin Niemöller, I thought it matched your point from earlier. I'm going to have to look that up. Pastor Martin Niemöller. So let's talk about slave raiding. And I'm going to read this. It's going to take about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we're going to discuss it. Because the slave raiding, again, I keep repeating myself, but I have to, because everybody don't understand this far back. And I want to make sure we're all on the same page. So slave raiding before 1705, this was going on. And then they said, okay, the slave raiders need badges. So they gave them patrol badges, where this was legal for them to kidnap you for reading, writing, being out too late past your adult curfew. They would lock you up if you didn't have a job, lock you up if you didn't, if you was homeless. These type of laws, where the laws didn't make sense but to the white man, and they only made the laws so that they could kidnap you legally. Make sense? I hope so. He wrote, first they came. I would definitely have to look that up. Pip Snipe Husker. So let's get into it now that we understand about slave raiding, like the timeline. Because the timeline for me is everything. If you don't understand the timeline, you might not understand history fully. And you might start off with the first president, which is all a fucking lie. Slave raiding from the inside. No more blabbling, Dr. Shine. Let's go. I remember the sound first. Not screams yet. Feet. Running feet. Too many, too fast, too late. The ground didn't warn us. The air shifted before we understood. Dogs, metal, fire carried by men who did not see us as humans. I was doing something ordinary when the world broke. Gathering, tending, laughing quietly, life mid-breath. Then chaos fell night at noon. They came not to fight, but to harvest. I saw elders struck down where they stood, not because they resisted, but because they slowed the taking. Children were lifted like bundles, arms flailing for mothers who were already bleeding. A baby's cry doesn't echo long when boots move fast. Hands were tied with anything available: rope, cloth, iron, not gently, never gently. Wrists burned, ankles bled, someone fell. They were dragged until skin gave way or breath did. They shouted commands I did not understand, but pain translated everything. I learned quickly. Silence meant survival. Crying brought blows. Looking them in their eyes brought worse. They smelled of sweat, leather, gunpowder, and certainty. Certainty that they were allowed to do this. They did not see our homes. They saw inventory. I watched a woman refuse to let go of her child. They beat her until her body released what her spirit would not. The child screamed. Then they stopped. That sound stays with you. We were marched, not walked, through the land that knew our names, past trees that had heard our prayers, towards a future that had no word for mercy. At night, the chains spoke louder than we did. Metal remembering us even when we tried to forget ourselves. Some prayed, some dissociated, staring into nothing because feeling everything would kill you. Some planned escape knowing the cost was death either way. What hurt most wasn't just the pain. It was the erasure. Being stripped of name, lineage, of story, reduced to numbers, brands, marks, ledgers. I realized then this wasn't random violence. This was organized, funded, protected by law and blessing and profit. Slave raiding wasn't chaos. It was a business model. And I survived, but survival is not the same as freedom. Because even after the chains loosens, your nervous system remembers what the world is capable of. Slave raiding wasn't history, guys. It was policy in motion. It was the foundation between wealth, borders, law, and currency. Okay? So that's slave raiding. Now, that's just like a little poetic way to describe what was going on, because this was something that they were saying they were blessed to do. Just come to any piece of land in America, stand outside of it, set it to fire, pow, pow, pow. Anybody who ran, steal the property, now it's theirs. It's crazy. So slave raiding was the violent capture of free human beings. Please understand this. So when you talk about this weak ass government and how they was founded and the president this, they don't ever want to go back to the time when they were using our ancestors, taking free human beings, renaming them, calling them Africans when they were from America. They were from this land, of this soil. Taking them, capturing them, just like the movie Get Out. And then they go and they don't even know who they are, where they from. They don't know. They're lost in the sauce. Right? And they did this, and they treated these captured free human beings, might I add. They sold them, made them complete free labor. They did political control and territorial domination. This was not spontaneous. This was planned, financed, rinsed, and repeated. Okay? Now, slave raiders, they didn't just show up randomly. They targeted border communities, isolated villages, trading routes, communities weakened by war, famine. Of course, the melanated indigenous people who were outside of the protection. They gather intelligence first. So when you see they came around, the census was much later, but they've been doing the census. They just called it something else so they could steal the land. They took the population size. And if you read Christopher Columbus' journal, you'll see he had the same blueprint. He would go there first, see how many people, see if they had any weapons, what time they went to sleep, where were the children, where were the elders, so they know how to attack, right? The raids normally happen at nighttime when you asleep. Imagine you sleep in your bed, you just peaceful, you don't know nothing about what's going on in the world. Life is good. You got your tribe, and all of a sudden you get hit with a slave raid attack. You seen these strange ass people come early in the day. You thinking they gone? No. They sleeping outside y'all house in the trees. Talking about the 1600s now. So it's dawn. Cock-a-doodle-doo. You know that sound if you from the country. Cock-a-doodle-doo. They waited till dawn, or they would do it at night, when people were sleeping or scattered and, at their weakest as far as being prepared. And then they would come in with overwhelming force to prevent resistance. During this time, again, they burned homes, food stores, they unalived the elders, anybody who was defending or the defenders, they got to them immediately. Then they terrorized the people who were left to induce pain. This was normally the children and the women. Yeah, they terrorized the children and the women. They used dogs, firearms, blades, whips. The goal was speed and shock, not battle. Think about it. Now they want to come on acting like they beat us. No. You did a lot of raiding that you don't talk about. So if you raid this village in a time when there's no internet, no phone, no 911, no none of this stuff, no one's going to know. So now you done raided this village, took all their stuff. Now you pretending like you these people, and you do this from village to village using military forces now. To people who don't even know that it's a war. That's some coward shit, man. That's why I talk about slave raiding a lot, because it was some coward shit, and that's what they built their government on. They had 200 years of taking people, not 200 years of bringing people on a boat. They had 200 years of capturing people on this land. Sad truth, man. Sad truth. Not everyone was taken. Not everyone was taken, though. They sorted our ancestors in real time. So once they got to this village, they did all this burning and damage and shocking the village, because it's like you wake up and you attack. It's like, what the fuck? The children, they saw as high resale value because they were easier to control, because they're scared as hell. You can move them and sell them to another state, another place over here, So the slave raiders were taking these people that they caught, selling them, making money. Even the presidents was buying them and their ancestors, yes. The young adults, they saw them as laborers, breeding, and resale. Skilled people like artisans, translators, and healers. The elders is ones they often unalive or abandon. All right? Sad. The captured people from their village, when they captured them on their village, they tied them up, chained them together to prevent them from escaping, and then said they came from Africa when they was right on their own land. They forced them to march long distances with no food. So when you hear the Trail of Tears, this is what they're talking about. After they raided people, chained them up, and forced them to walk away from their property. Right? And if you collapse on the walk, you were then beaten, dragged, unalive, to make an example. So slave catching came after slavery was established. Tracking escaped humans. Slave catchers were hired and deputized. So even the presidents, even we get back up into the presidency, they hire slave catchers to go and hunt the people who had escaped. Track them across counties, territories, capture them alive if possible. They used dogs, informants, wanted posters. This was state-sanctioned kidnapping by the state, guys. And the reason why I say this is because y'all expect something different from Trump. Are y'all hearing where they started at in their mindset with this government? Why you expect something different all of a sudden? Somehow the words in their Constitution and Declaration of Independence were morally correct while their actions were largely hypocritical. Their actions had nothing, because the words in the Constitution, when they were talking about that, they wasn't talking about us. Because remember, when they were writing this stuff, we weren't included in that because we were not naturalized citizens, all because we were not white. You had to be white for them to be talking about you. If you were melanated, they weren't talking about you. They were talking about themselves. You were the person that they were talking about going to kidnap and take your land and steal everything. They weren't talking about you when they were talking about equality. Let's not get it twisted. People like, well, in the Constitution, that wasn't your Constitution when they made it. They had no idea that you was going to even think that was yours. Poisoning water supplies. Extincting feed animals to starve a population. Biowarfare. All these things were later prohibited by the Geneva Conventions. Wow. Poisoning the water supply? Oh my God. This is sad. Slave catchers. These are basically bounty hunters. So you see the word bounty hunters, paying your bounty. This all came from the beginning of slavery. Slave catchers were paid per person captured. More if you return them alive. Right? And sometimes they got more than skilled laborers. They got more money. This turned human suffering into a side hustle and a full-time profession. And mind you, when they made slave patrol legal in 1704, they made it mandatory for all white persons, all white males. If you did not have a job, you had to go and sign up to be a slave patrol. That was mandatory. Look it up. There was a law saying, hey, you ain't got a job and you're white, we gave you this free land, you have to go and be a slave patrol. That's why so many of them are evil, because they were forced by their government to go and do evil shit by law. If you weren't evil, you wasn't a part of their government. Dead horses and people were dumped into small ponds and springs and creeks. Oh my God. This is so sad. It just get worse. Now you're finna have me go and look up the Geneva Conventions and see what's... Because I've heard about these things in school, but back then I was in my matrix mind where I was like, I don't want to know about no history. When you were a young kid, you'd be like, oh, this is boring, because they teach you that you some type of slave in the situation versus that this is your land and that you're indigenous. And that's why people get confused. Now, legal backing. Slave catchers operated under the slave codes, fugitive laws, court warrants, and militias and posses, like the KKK. But this was later, the KKK, way after slave raiding. Captured people were often beaten publicly, displayed, punished to discourage others, resold farther away to sever family ties. Terror was a part of their system. That's why they like horror movies. Captured people were sold at markets, auctions, traded to pay debts, used as collaterals, inherited. You can inherit these people. They were used to populate plantations, mines, households, armies. And these idiots kept records of their names, their ages. Like, it's just sad. It was so dehumanizing. But this is where the government started. And they like to forget that fact while they want to sit around here and gaslight us and put melanated people on animal bodies, on Neanderthal bodies. Right? It's sad. Slave raiding and slave catching, which was before the government, created generational trauma. It built modern wealth, shaped borders and laws, and normalized the idea that some lives are extractable. And when people say get over it, they are asking you to forget a crime scene that still pays them dividends. Oh yeah, that crime scene that y'all did back then is still paying them dividends now. You got your great-great-great-grandkids walking around here talking about, oh, I'm American. All because you said that you was naturalized in the 1790s after y'all done did all this evil shit. Now you want to be American. Fuck out of here, man. I only bring up the Geneva Conventions because they were some sort of international agreement of what humanity, any part participant in a war deserved. What? That's bananas. Now I gotta go look this up. I ain't gonna do it right now because I feel like you finna lead me down a whole nother set of information that Wow. I'm going to look that up, though. I might look it up quickly. But let me go back to the beginning of this, because we were talking about Trump, Andrew Jackson. Dynastic wealth is as real as dynastic property. I meant poverty. That's crazy. Back to white supremacy. It's a system of access, not just racial hatred. It determines who gets grace, like Trump. It determines who gets bail. You know, like Epstein, he did all this evil shit and they knew about it and nothing happened. And when I went to look at it, it said they knew and they just slapped him on the wrist because he had so much money. You know, he could do what he want on his island. They determine who gets buried, who gets erased. Enslavers can become presidents as a YT. Colonizers can become founding fathers. And predators, such as Epstein, can become philanthropists. Okay? White supremacy only survives because it calls itself normal. And it's not normal at all. It's actually deranged. I heard my girl on YouTube, I think her name is Sade Jackson. She be talking about YT MAGA supremacy hell. But she was just saying, you know, this type of behavior, this type of hate and racism should be diagnosed as a mental health disorder. And it should. It really is a mental health disorder. It just supports your argument, Doc. I'm singing your song, LOL. I thank you so much for the supporting information. I really appreciate it, because the more I know, the more I grow, and I don't barely know anything when it comes to this history. Everything that I did learn in school was a lie. Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson was an enslaver, a land thief, an architect of indigenous genocide. And yes, he is on the U.S. currency. He shaped banking laws. He was praised as a man of the people. All because he participated in this evil ass system. Right? So remember, guys, whoever is on the currency is who the system honors. So when you look on the money, who do you see on the money? These are who these people honor. The people who made it a way for them to steal land, write laws, legalize stuff, legalize every type of genocide. Now, what about Jeffrey Epstein? Because, see, I didn't really know much about this Epstein character because I'm in my whole world. I'm in my dentistry world. I'm doing my own thing. But I just keep hearing Epstein file, Epstein file, Epstein file, Epstein file, to the point where you can't even think no more. You got to go see, what the fuck is the Epstein file? Now, I call myself going to look up and go to the Department of Justice, and they got it so confusing. You got to click on each one. And the first couple I clicked was some young ladies. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So I just stopped digging, because the first couple ones I was like, you know what? I don't have time to sit here and research this psychopath man. I just know whatever you did, it was covered up just like the rest of them. Because that's y'all culture, to cover shit up and make it look good when it's really not. It's sad. So Jeffrey Epstein wasn't powerful because of his crimes. He was protected because of who his crimes connected. They protected him. He moved in elite circles. He had access to politicians, royalty, bankers, and he died before accountability reached upward. Right? He died. He unalived himself because he just couldn't imagine what he was going to be facing. He probably would have got another slap on the wrist, to be honest, but it was just embarrassing. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Can you believe it? So, you know, it's just sad. It's a sad world we live in, guys. Now, you just said something about the Geneva Convention. Let's talk about it. The Geneva Convention are a formal admission that what powerful states had long practiced, including slave raiding, slave catching, forced removal, and civilian terror, was so destructive that it had to be criminalized once Europeans began doing it to each other. Wow. Wow. What the hell? So it says, when you strip away the language, slave raiding involved kidnapping civilians, collective punishment, forced displacement, family separation, sexual violence, killing non-combatants, transporting people in chains, and treating humans as cargo. Now compare that to what the Geneva Conventions prohibit: taking civilians hostage, forcible transfer or deportation, inhumane treatment, torture, sexual violence, collective punishment, outrages upon personal dignity. Wow. Why these protections didn't exist during slavery? Here's the part most textbook dodge. International laws of war did not apply to indigenous people. What? Colonized populations? What? Why? Because they were legally defined as property, savages, non-sovereign, outside civilized nations. You cannot violate the right of someone the law says don't have rights. So slave raiding wasn't a war crime, it was commerce. What the fuck? Wow. See, I'm on point, Doc. Yeah, you on point. So they made this whole conference banning all of this stuff, but then said the indigenous people of America, or if you were indigenous or if you were colonized, it didn't apply to you because you were property. That's why now I seen this lady on TikTok and she be confusing the hell out of me, and I know she got a point, but she was like, if you go to the post office and you do this form, then you know you don't have to pay your bills because they lie. I be seeing people talk about all this stuff, but they never have like a clear path to do this shit, and I'm still confused. Now I done filled out dozens of applications, thick applications that have really long requirements, such as a dental school application, right? I fill these out, but when they talk about all these different things and getting out of the system, they just make it so hard for you to get out of their system. They put you a part of their government, gave you a social security number, made you go to work, make you think you're from Africa so that they can use these laws on you, and so you can't be classified as indigenous. Now the thing about this conference, it said that the international laws of war don't even apply to us indigenous people. So I want to know who made these damn laws? Who made this conference? Because why y'all always excluding us? Oh, because we are your commerce. Without us going to work, without us voting, without us participating in this whack-ass system, it crumbles down. Put on a uniform. There's the rules. Right. Dress indigenously, then you're chattel or a savage. This was within the past century. Facts. That is facts, man. That's facts, man. It was illegal for you not to go to work. I couldn't even believe that. It was illegal for you not to have a job. You had to have your papers that proved that you had a job for the unemployment office. You had to have papers to travel. Y'all was really on some sick shit. I tell you that much right now. The Geneva Conventions are a line drawn after crime. Wow. Wow. Slave catching turned into policing, which turned into lawful force. Slave catching was state sanctioned, bounty based, armed, and legally protected. I don't think y'all understand it. That logic becomes modern day policing and military enforcement. This is where ICE came from. So when we talked about Jasmine Crockett tying ICE to slave raiding and slave catching, that's where it came from. So you guys, the white tea started this shit back then when it was not meant to harm y'all. It was meant to harass us forever. You just see us, you want to harass us. What's in your bag? What's in your book? This nosy as hell. And then, oh, you got a book? Let me take you to jail. Oh, you reading? Let me, like, what? Don't make no sense, man. It don't make no sense, man. It don't really make no sense. Right? Don't make no sense. Don't make no sense, guys. So I got to dig a little bit deeper into the Geneva conferences and all the. But the point is, regardless of how deep I dig, what I'm learning is that, you know, in this world, in this society, melanated people are always going to be classified as less than a YT person. Why? Because we have melanin. Now we have something more in our skin that actually is magical But some kind of way you guys think that means we're less. That's YT math. And I need y'all to catch on to YT math, because YT math, here's the answer for you. If you ever looking for an answer for YT math, the answer is it's never going to fucking add up. Isn't that Trump got 34 felonies, he the president, but you got one felony and you can't go and work at McDonald's? The math never going to add up. It's never going to add up. The laws they made to kidnap people and put them in chains and steal their land and then reclassify them and say they're from Africa, it's never going to add up. They could find dinosaur bones, like Chief Sacred Nine said. They could find all these things but can't find the boat we came off. It's never going to add up. They got Ellis Island, biggest day over here. They know where the boats is coming in for them. They got pictures, but none of us. And the thing about where I'm from, Florida never surrendered. Florida is still unconquered. Andrew Jackson, that bitch ass nigga, he had to bring the military to Florida to get them American, them Seminole, the Appalachia, the Creek, to settle us down, because we wasn't having it. We still ain't having it. You can ban TikTok, you can ban Facebook, you can ban Instagram, you can ban it all. You can never ban the truth. You can never ban the truth. You can try your hardest, but you can't ever ban the truth. And y'all president showed y'all his hand today. They showed y'all their hand today. They feel like all of us are still chattel slavery and dumb and just gonna fall for anything. And it's not happening. But not every white man thinks that way, Doc. It's not hopeless. No, it's not every white man. It's not. It's not. But it is the white system. See, the white system, it protects all white people. That doesn't mean that all white men are this way. Because I know some who aren't. But see, my thing is I can't defend a couple when the whole system been flawed for 400 years. This means the ones that aren't, and you're white, I see them speaking out. And I really appreciate y'all for speaking out and calling y'all people out. I see y'all speaking out. Of course it's not all. And just like us, not all of us are out of the matrix. Some of us, we still believe in, Christopher Columbus and Christianity. We got to fight our own people to wake up. So it's a battle for, let's see, what would this be a battle for? This is a battle for, peace, guys. I talk a lot of shit when I'm talking about history, because history talked a lot of shit about us. I wouldn't have nothing to talk about if they wasn't writing this evil stuff down. If they didn't believe that this evil stuff was good, I wouldn't have nothing to talk about. But because y'all wrote everything down and you thought that we were worthless and you thought we were never going to read it, that's why I talk about it. That's why I touch on it. That's why I can't stand the system. It is a YT system, and it has to be abolished. It's not one person. And some people are like, well, it's not all cops, but it's the system of the cops. It's not all cops. Of course we can't tie things to one person. Of course we can't tie things to one, law, but it is the whole system that has to be gutted and thrown in the trash. You can't remedy a system that was born on capturing people. Are we understanding this or not? You can't turn a system good that was born on capturing people and say, well, no, we don't do that no more. We just gonna act like that never happened. White system conceded. You ain't alone. Saul, I'm saying, yeah, not alone at all. And I hear what you're saying, Pip Snipe Husker. And you're giving some valid feedback. Valid feedback. And I really appreciate it. Because see, my goal is not hate. My goal is actually love. I'm all about love. And I was this blind ass person in this world who thought that this world was good. I was all about love and all about, having the dream and all of this stuff. And I thought that, I don't know what the hell I thought until I woke up. And I was like, what the hell kind of world? Y'all got me learning about these presidents, these evil bitches. Why y'all ain't tell me that was that evil, calling them a founding father? Founding father of hate. I ain't offended by what you say. I don't need a disclaimer before you speak your truth. We good. I hear you. I'm still learning. I say that not as a disclaimer, because I have people who, I had this guy, he was like, He was like, well, Doc, you're never going to be my friend because I'm white. I was like, no, that's not it. You know, I'm a dentist, so I don't have hate like, oh, no, I just hate the system. Like, I just really hate the system. I really hate, you know, everything that it stood for, everything that I'm discovering about it, all of the things that still are in play. I hate the fact that Trump can be somebody's leader and knowing that he doing all of these things. Like, we're going to impeach him. Oh, how? Y'all talking about giving him a third term to run again. How? Y'all just play in our face all day. And I'm just sick of it. And I just had to come live today and just vent because I could not believe that guy did that. I love you. Rock on, Doc. I love y'all too. Thank y'all for joining me and listening to me chit chat about this crazy world. And where do we go from here, guys? I know that everyone is in an uproar about what he posted. I didn't even post it because I feel like it was so disrespectful. I'm not gonna feed into it, but I will post Trump looking like that because I don't care about him. Don't. And I don't know where we go from here. I don't know what's going to happen from here. I just know every day get crazier and crazier. People are talking about WW3. That's not impossible. But why are we doing that? I thought we was in a modern world. I thought we were going towards peace. But it seems like now the world is just full of hate. Everybody battling. Everybody arguing. Everybody trying to tell people where they came from. Everybody, it's too much. It's crazy. It's crazy. So in this world, I hope y'all can keep your sanity. Don't let nothing these fake ass presidents post gaslight you. You know. What? Don't even let it gaslight you. Know who you are. Stay positive. Even if you have to go on a rant to understand history, do that. I go on a rant all the time when I read history because it pisses me off. Am I not supposed to be pissed off? Trump can go and post stuff like that, but as soon as we post some, y'all want to ban the account, turn it off. But he do that, it's viral. Nothing's banned. He's not banned. He's never banned. That Trump fucker hurts our soul every day. God, yes, Trump. I try not to watch him, but until he do something crazy like this, and I have to be like, I'm like, what he did now is just fuck that. I refuse to hate. I gave it up for Lent. Not doing it. Can't make it. Yes, I refuse to hate. But one thing I do hate is history. I hate the fact that I have to read about these sad things happening to people who were innocent. That's what I hate about it. I hate that people won't wake up and they ignore history as if it never happened. That's what I hate. I hate that white supremacy still reigns today and they still look at it like it's some great thing where they will vote presidents in who are the epitome of it. I hate that. I hate, if that makes sense. I love, but I hate. And I hate the people who hate. That was probably confusing, but I hate haters. Ooh, I hate haters. If you hate melanin, then I hate you. Put it like that. Point blank period. I don't like melanin, I don't like you. What? I don't like you. If you love melanin, then I love you. But if you don't like melanin, I don't like you. Okay? If you agree with anything Trump doing, I don't like you. I don't hate you, I just don't like you. And I ain't got to know you, I just don't like you. Why? Because I don't like your mindset. I don't like your mindset. History teaches, tell the stories, Doc. Everybody should be repulsed by the mistakes of our past. We can be better. We can absolutely be better. And that's a good way to lead off into this, ending this conversation, is saying, you know what? That's a good, because I just asked us, where do we go from here? And what you said really kind of ties to where we go from here. Just trying to be better. Not because a white person got unalive and oh my God, everybody mad. No. That's not being better. Being better is when anybody get unalive, you get an uproar. Not just when they're white. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. No. This been going on and everyone was silent. So we get better when it's truly equality. When it's truly y'all remembering and apologizing. Until we get an apology versus these memes, then we are still starting at square zero. And he said he's never going to apologize. So, Are we ever going to get out of this? I don't know. We can always teach better. We can always act better. Facts. We can always do these things better, but first, it starts with the leader. And right now, there's a leader in the office who, he's like mildew. Something that it just get worse and worse and worse. Until y'all get these leaders out of the office, until we tell the truth to the youth and stop teaching them that these presidents were leaders and tell the truth about history, until the truth is like really like told without people getting angry, without the hate, I don't know if we're gonna ever really get better. Because right now I just see doom. Yes, we can teach. Yes, we can learn. Yes, we can keep growing. But it all starts with the top. And until they stop allowing these fake ass people to hold office titles, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I mean, I'm trying to be optimistic, but ooh, it's tough, man. It's tough. Because not only do you have the politics going crazy, you got real life earth going crazy. You got people homeless, losing their houses, losing their jobs, like starving. You got so much going on, like rent is out of control, groceries out of control. They didn't took away all of the ways that people were growing their own food. People don't know how to do nothing no more. You know, I'll stand behind you or in front of you against the fascists. Period. So we're gonna leave off with, let's teach better, let's act better, and let's love better. And let's rebuke all the haters. Now y'all know I'm gonna come back when I'm feeling a little, I don't know, today I was just like, I gotta just say something about this because I don't even know how to feel about like what? Like what? I don't know, guys. I hope y'all have a wonderful evening. This has been the Hood to Hooded podcast with your host, Dr. Sean. Thank you, Pit Snipe Husker. I'm probably saying your name all wrong. I do apologize. Pit Snipe Husker. Thank you for tapping in. And I know on TikTok, they just got my shit all like shadow banned, but it's okay. We still come on here. We talk the real. We're not afraid of history. We're not afraid of just telling it like it is. With love, of course. I like the bonnet. This is not a bonnet. It looked like a bonnet, but it's like this type of like a cloth hat. It looks like a bonnet. It's very cozy, but it's not a bonnet. I'm just Pit, ma'am. Okay, Pit. That's a lot easier than Pit Snipe Husker. I'm going to call you Pit from now on. All right. Well, thank you for dropping by, Pit. I really appreciate it. I will see y'all in the next live. Bye, guys. From the hood to the hooded, we standing true, telling our story. Yeah, this is proof. History talking, wisdom revived. This ain't just a lie, this is life. Yes, Lord.